Hello, my name is Colby Sharp. I am a fifth grade book-loving teacher in Michigan. Welcome to my channel. Here we try to help kids fall in love with reading. Today we're going to be talking about the first 10 books, picture books that I read aloud to my fifth graders. These are the books that we are building the foundation of our class upon. These are the books that some kids will not forget for the rest of their lives. These are the books that I hope will stay in their heart long after they leave this classroom. And these are the books that I chose to start our year with. Here's the thing also, you can't read all the books that you want to read first. So you have to pick some. And some of my favorites aren't here. We're going to be reading them. We've already actually read them because when I'm filming this video is the day after I read the 10th book to my class. We've already read 13 picture books. So please read lots of books to your kids. It's the best. They love it. Without further ado, here are the 10 picture books that I read aloud to my fifth graders to start the year. I'm going to put a list in the description so you know the books that we list. You don't have to keep any notes. This is a school. John Shue, Veronica Miller Jameson. We begin the year with this book. I began the last year with this book as well. This is a very special book because it really shows what is possible in a school, what is magical about a school. And it kind of helps us to think and envision what we hope for this school year and what we hope for our classroom and what we hope for this school. I highly recommend that you read this book anytime during the year. I choose to read it first. Here's why. Because it's also the book that I'm going to read to them last at the very end of the year. And at the end of the year, there's going to be a handwritten letter from every elementary teacher they've had. It's a surprise gift that I give all of them. And then on the last day, after they read all those notes, a lot of them are going to cry because it's emotional. It's a magical moment. They're going to sign each other's books and they're going to get to go home and keep this book in their homes in their hearts forever. First book, This is a School. Second book, a new one. I read this over the summer and I'm like, I'm going to be reading Hidden Gem early in the year. It's such a fun book about this gem, this rock, who is just a little rock, a little gray rock, and, you know, does all kinds of rock things. But then it goes to this like rock museum and it realizes there's some really cool rocks out here. And maybe, just maybe, rock doesn't feel so special anymore. And it's a great book to have conversations about how we're all unique, how we're all special, how you don't have to be the brightest, the shiniest, the fanciest, the flyest. You be you, and that's pretty darn awesome. Our Hidden Gem realizes that. Check out this book. It's magical, all ages. I teach fifth grade. I'd start the year if I taught kindergarten with these two books. If I taught eighth grade with these two books, I would never teach eighth grade. If I taught 12th grade, would never teach that either. I might start the year with these two books. Speaking of books that are awesome to start the year with, The Day You Begin. You've probably read this book early in the year because it's all about coming back to school, how different kids do different things in the summer. Not everybody gets to go on fancy vacations. Some kids are hanging out reading books with their family. Some kids are taking care of their siblings. And I think that's a really important thing for kids to see. It's a really important thing for me to see. One of the best picture books ever written right here. All time great. If you haven't read this aloud, oh my gosh, what a gift I'm giving you by putting this on your to-read list. You're so lucky. I'm so lucky to be able to share books with kids. I read this book at the end of last year. This is a 2023 book. Look at that. That's the actual size of this tortoise, this turtle here. Actual size. Check out this case. Check this out. Isn't that cool? Well, we don't read enough nonfiction aloud. We by me. So I'm trying to be better. So we wanted to hit it right from the very beginning with this book, The Book of Turtles. So we learned all about turtles. Did you know that the turtle shell started just on like the belly? So they're like predators coming up, trying to eat it, were rejected, then eventually became a whole shell. And that's why part of the reason why they can live for hundreds of years. There's all kinds of different tortoises. You need to learn about famous tortoises. You probably want to read this book. I know you're all on another tab right now, or you're on your other device. You probably already ordered it since you heard me talk about it because it's that good. It's that good. Remember, I'll put a list of all these books in the description. This book we use to kick off Writer's Workshop. I do a writing activity on one of the first days called I Remember, and it is where kids take Veronica Jameson's prompt from the Creativity Project, which is a book that I edited, and they create a list of things that they remember that could possibly turn into stories. I model it, I do it in my writer's notebook, then they do it. It always goes really well. Well, not this year. This year it went amazing because we read this book first, changed everything, took things to the next level, because this is a story about a child and his mom sharing memories. There they are in bed, and some, they just kind of maybe moved, and they're sharing memories And they kind of start with this like kind of simple memories like picnics, learning to ride bikes, and they get into some a little bit more serious memories. It is a magnificent book, and it's very touching. You don't have to do the part from the creativity project or the writing lesson with it. This book is just beautiful all in itself. But to do it, for them to see that, how you could write about small things, big things, important things, things some people might forget, and like how we all live life, these lives filled with different memories and events. Let's go. What a great job we have. All right, so we're talking about all the different genres that we're going to study this year. And we're talking about what's in each genre. We're reading picture books about each genre so they can kind of see the difference. We're talking about poetry, and we were talking about how it could be a novel in verse, right? A collection of poems that tell a story. It could be like a Shel Silverstein, just like a bunch of poems, like kind of silly poems or around a certain theme. There's like a dog haiku book that we all look at. And then I say, or a book could be one poem told over the course of 32 pages. And this one is just gorgeous, just gorgeous. Helen is a heck of a writer. Rick is an amazing photographer. How do you take that picture? Seriously, look at that. Step gently out, check it out. And then John's turn. I think this is the book that of all the books that have come out in the last 2 years, this is maybe my favorite one to read aloud, because you just see kids kind of like looking around and like thinking things and like looking to make eye contact with kids they know. And they just are really affected by this book. It's a book about a really brilliant school that has these assemblies. And if everything goes right, then a kid gets a chance to share. And this book is about John's opportunity to share. And John dances, and watching how the kids respond to something that, let's be real, like a lot of kids might giggle at or make faces at, or, maybe not make the best choices when they see a boy dancing wearing his uniform in class. But the way that this class responds, the way that this school does things is a model for all of us. Read John's turn. Talk about it with kids. All of them could use this book, I'm guessing. Next up, another newish book, 20 Questions. I read this book last year. I read it at home, and I was like, I do not understand this book at all. What in the world is going on? And then I'm like, Matt Barnett, Christian Robinson probably know something that I don't know. So I read it. How many animals can you see in this picture? So it's on the carpet. I read this. And they're all like shouting numbers like we're at preschool read aloud in the library. It's just magical. Everyone's just like a little kid. Then I turn the page. I'm like, well, that's interesting. How many animals can you not see in this one? Because they're hiding from the tiger, and the kids' minds are blown. And then we just get into which one of these ladies robbed a bank, and the world explodes because everyone thinks a different lady. Everyone's got a different reason. And by now, we're not raising hands. We're just going for it. It's bonkers. It's wild. It's fun. 20 of those questions. Check it out. Stupendous. I will tell you, kids, one of the things that kids are most fascinated by on this planet is what it's like to be a kid somewhere else. They want to learn that. They want to know that. That's one of the reasons why they love historical fiction. They want to know what it was like to grow up at a different time. But this book is so fascinating. You have kids from all over the planet. The author is from Chicago, so he's not like one of the kids. But they look at kids from all different parts of the world, right? These 7 kids. They introduce themselves here. And then you get a chance to see where they live. You get a chance to see what their family is like, what they wear to school, what their lunch looks like, what their playground looks like, how they get to school. It's awesome. And, try and read more nonfiction. Big. This book could win the Caldecott Medal. This book could be just covered in medals here before you know it. This could be one of those books that is read for decades, years and years and years and years. The story of a kid who, when they're little, it's a good thing that she's big. Oh, she's so big. She's so cute. But when she gets a little bit older, some people start to have some feelings about her and her size, and it's not cool. And it's powerful. And the way that this book ends is really, really, really impactful in a way that is building community in this room that we share together. is helping us to create what I hope is a magical environment. I have the best job in the world. I get to work with the best kids on the planet. I am so lucky that I get to continue to share amazing books with them. Again, a list of all these books will be in the description for you, so you can go get them from the library, buy them from your independent bookstore, wherever you purchase books. Thank you for reading aloud to kids. It is so important. It is so magical. It is so pure and special and timeless. Continue to do it. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Colby Sharp. Hope you have an awesome-tastic day.